Well, I thought I would do a little review of some of the G-Shocks that I have left. I've had a soft spot for G-Shocks for a lot of years. Originally, when I was in the military, and they kind of changed the regs a little bit, and they would allow us to wear personal watches. I don't recall, I really think it was a G-Shock, a black square G-Shock. It has vanished. It's probably in a box somewhere. I really have no idea where that thing disappeared to, but it was about this size, so it really makes me think that's what it was. It may have been a Casio, one of their world timers or whatever, but I really think it was a G-Shock. And so they've always kind of been around. And then 6 or 7 years ago, we would be going on mission trips, and I decided I think it would be kind of a cool thing, since nobody wears watches anymore, everybody's into Apple Watches or whatever it may be, that when our group got ready to go on mission trips, that in the months leading up to it, I would hit every kind of junk store, retail store that had big sales, and I would buy the cheapest G-Shocks that I could find. And then when we finished loading up the vans and got ready to go, I would give everybody on our trip a G-Shock, and they would all be synchronized, and I would set the alarms to 3:16, and so every day at 3:16, the watch would go off, and it would remind us of what we were doing there with the Bible passage, John 3:16. And it was just kind of a cool way for me to pass on my enjoyment of watches to maybe the next generation. And it was always fun for several years during time change, whenever I'd get a text or something from one of the teenagers, and they would say, "Hey, can you change the time on my watch?" Because they hadn't figured out that they can Google everything or YouTube everything. And so they would bring the watch by. But the cool thing was, is it reminded me, or it let me know, that a lot of them were still wearing their watches. And I always thought that was pretty cool. And so a couple of these, this is the one that I wore on the last mission trip, I think. This is one, and I'll talk about this one. This is a 6900 SB. I guess I bought it before the mission trips that were canceled. We haven't been able to go on one since COVID. They have not opened up the reservations for mission trips where we were always going to. And so that one's probably what that one's for. And then these other two Master Series, I picked these up for pretty cheap because I just enjoy them. But they're just so large. And so, but that's where I want to start. I want to start talking a little bit about the first one, the Master of G. This is from Master of G in the Land series. And this is, if I can get that to focus, there we go. This is the Mudmaster, and it is GGB100. And then I think there's a 1A3, and all it has to do with is the case, the carbon fiber, the green the green strap, all of that kind of stuff. But this really is a cool watch. I really like this watch. Big, legible, has lume that actually seems to work. The light is pretty bright. If you know, when I wear these on mission trips especially, they don't come off my wrist. And so in the middle of the night when I wake up and I'm not wearing my glasses, I can just push that button and I can actually read to tell what time it is. This one, the one drawback to some of the newer ones is this one operates off of a battery, the CR2025 2-year battery. I have not had to change this battery yet. I don't wear it very often. I don't do a lot of the functions. I don't even have this one connected to Bluetooth. This one you can use Garmin's whatever their app is called. I can't remember. I wrote it down somewhere. But you can use the app and sync this thing with your phone. It has all of the normal functions of an ABC watch. The altitude, barometer, compass, and it also has a thermometer that you can change from Fahrenheit to Celsius. But it also, since it connects to your Bluetooth, it has a step counter in it, and it's fairly accurate. I have not used this one. I actually had another G-Shock that had Bluetooth in it and had the step counting functions, and I used it for just a little bit, and it seemed to be fairly accurate as far as that goes. This has a digital compass, just all your normal ABC functions. And so let me let me kind of see if you can scroll through some of the modes here. The barometer, we're supposed to have a storm tonight. Temperature 78 degrees inside here. It is getting kind of toasty. You can record on your for your altimeter. If you're on a trip or something like that, you can record certain measurements. You can do it automatically or manually. Just a great watch. It has stopwatch, timer, all your normal stuff, multiple alarms, world time. This one is set to Paris, just in case I ever decide to get on a plane and go there. This really is a cool carbon fiber case. It's probably not showing up quite as good as it could on the video, but man, it's just a sweet case. I really like the colors on this. It's just great, and it's pretty comfortable. Integrated back. Normally, the G-Shock you would you could unhook the back if you need to change the battery out or whatever. I'm sure there's a way to do that. Probably have to take off the strap, and then I bet the back comes off. But it's got all the pertinent information back there regarding this G-Shock. Just a great watch overall. Like I said, I'm really struggling with whether or not I'm actually gonna sell this one. I got rid of my Rangeman. That's one of the things. I should have gone and picked one up to use kind of as a comparison. I've worn the Rangeman 9400. I can't remember what the number is on that one, but I've worn it probably more than any of the other G-Shocks other than the 5600. And I used it for a lot of years. But I got rid of the last one for the same reason I'm probably going to get rid of these. When I wear them to do any kind of work, they just get snagged on everything, and I'm always having to take it off if I'm working on an engine on a vehicle or whatever, and you're reaching down in there to do anything. This is going to be in your way, so it's going to end up sitting on the hood. And the square, it seems to fit better in those places. I mean, it's pretty thin, and so just the numbers on this thing. Let me put this back over here. As far as the size goes, this thing is 55.4 millimeters in length. That'd be lug to lug normally. This thing is 51.3 millimeters wide. Normally you would say excluding the crown, but this has the sensors and everything that are protruding and the buttons. And then it is 19.4 millimeters thick. So it's a pretty hefty watch. When you're looking at that, and the 5600 is it's only 13.4 millimeters thick, and so markedly bigger. The Master of G Mudmaster, pretty big watch, but it's a great one. Man, it's really bright. Just a great watch overall. All right, the next one that I want to look at real quick is the Frogman. I have owned a couple of different versions of the Frogman. This is the first time I've ever owned a Master of G version, and this thing is a beast. But the same reason that I got rid of all of the smaller versions of it is the same reason I'm going to get rid of it, other than it's just huge, is the case is just not symmetrical. That side that sticks out, that just bothers me. I mean, it's just one of those things, personal taste, and it just doesn't suit me. I picked this one up used. College kid was getting rid of it, and I've worn it, I've used it, but it just always feels weird to me. But it's a great watch. This one's multiband 6. That's one of the things I wish that Mudmaster was. Multiband 6, radio controlled. It picks up the signal like 6 times a day from various sources. Fort Collins probably is the one I think that's closest here. So it's always going to be on time. It's always going to have all of the the stuff that's updated that needs to be updated. Solar power, don't ever have to change the battery. Well, I say that I've had to change solar cells or whatever they're called in a couple of these over the years. So it's basically a battery looking thing, rechargeable battery. And it's not any harder than on any other G-Shock that I've ever had any issues with at all. This thing has diving features, dive time. It measures, keeps track of all the things that you need to keep track of whenever you're diving. I've never used it that way, so I can't speak from experience. It has 48 cities, 31 time zones. Moon data gives you the moon phase, all of that kind of stuff. Tide graph, tide for specific days and dates, and it has all of your normal features, stopwatch, countdown, all of that kind of stuff. This one does have a power saving battery display, so sometimes if it's not being used and it's laying on the desk and I go to pick it up, there's nothing on the display at all, and then it pops back up. It says G-Shock or Casio says on their website that that this thing will run for 8 months from a full charge without exposure to light, and that it'll go 26 months on the battery if it's stored in total darkness. So that's pretty remarkable if it'll actually do that, and it's fairly accurate as well. Like I said, that's pretty amazing when you think about it, that it can do all of those things. Green luminescence, like that's pretty normal for G-Shocks. I think I'm just clicking through. But you can kind of see all your normal functions. But just a good overall watch. The case back on this one though wins. This thing is just it's a beautiful case back. Take a look at that thing. See if I can get a little closer. It's all smudgy now, but it's got the Frogman symbol on there. Diver's watch, 200 meters. All of the other pertinent information. GWF 1000. Tells you don't open this thing up. Just cool. That's the way a case back should be on one of these. I would say on almost any watch. They just need to put some detail in there. Nobody will ever see that except for the person that owns it. But there's just something about that is just awesome. Strap on this one is okay. If in some ways it feels like some of the less expensive G-Shocks, their straps are not very pliable. This one's a little bit better. It's still not, it's not like silicone, but it's a pretty good strap. I give that a solid A-. But yeah, just a good watch. Some nice writing on there. 200 meters right there. Your buttons, big buttons that you could hit wherever. Anyway, that's just a cool watch. But like I said, I never could gel with it. It just never, I don't know, just one of those things. Let me put it in these side by side here so you can kind of see them. I would say they're comparable in size. What's a millimeter between friends? All right. The next one on my list, like I said a moment ago, this thing, it has the case shape like the Chris Kyle G-Shock. That's what I always call the Chris Kyle, the 6900. I think it was a 6900, but that's, if I remember correctly, I had one for several years, and I think maybe in 2019 or maybe 18, I don't remember, we had somebody, I think this is where I got rid of it. We had somebody join our mission trip at the last second, and I think I was planning on wearing the Chris Kyle, and I ended up giving him that watch, and then I don't remember, I probably put on a 5600 in the process. But this is not a Chris Kyle watch. This is actually a 6900 SB. It's a unique, this one's gray. They came in, I think, 3 colors. Once again, this is from G-Shock website. They came in 4 colors, black, or maybe it was a dark blue, gray, burgundy, and yellow. And they each have a different kind of color face. When this one illuminates, it illuminates red, and you can really see it almost looks pink. But it's red, and so that's what makes this fit within that special series, I suppose. It's a good little watch, keeps good time. 53 millimeters by 50 by 16.3, so it's pretty thick. not quite as thick as those other two, but it's definitely thicker than the 5600. It has a 2016 battery, CR 2016, so 2-year battery life, I suppose, in that, like most of them. It has all your normal stuff. There's nothing as far as features go that make this any different than most entry-level G-Shocks. Time, alarm, all of that kind of stuff. Just a good basic little watch. This is one of those straps that drives me nuts. It's not comfortable at all, no give. I mean, it's just a plain, and in the back you can see. Normally when we would get ready for mission trips, I would, you know, when I buy these things cheap and I'll throw them in a drawer, and then a week or so before our mission trip, I take them in there and I wash them down pretty good, and I get all of the sticker residue from the store or wherever it is that I bought them from. And obviously this one never made a trip because I still have it, but it never even made the cleaning process. So I probably bought this one for either the trip that we did take in 2020 that we were gone right when the pandemic hit, and came back and everything had shut down, and then we had to cancel everything else. So I'm guessing that's what this one was for. But it's just a good little watch. Accurate, does the job. And then last but not least is the old standby, the Square, and this one's battery operated. This one, the DW5600E, I think 1V maybe. It's 48.9 by 42 by 13.4, made of resin, just your plain old G-Shock. It 2016 battery, so 2 years, water resistant, 200. I guess every one of these is water resistant up to about 200 meters, give or take. Stopwatch, you know, just all your normal stuff. There's nothing super fancy. The calendar on this one goes to $20.99. I don't remember if I said it on maybe the 6900 SB, that last one. It only goes up to $20.39. So I guess if you keep that watch for 17 more years, you're gonna be in trouble when you go look at the calendar. You're gonna be awful confused. This is just, you know, good, basic. I think I paid $7 for this one several years ago. Great deal, keeps good time. Have not had to replace the battery yet on it. Pretty simple, just a great little G-Shock when it comes down to it. And get the light to come on. I was pushing the wrong button. Your normal green luminescence. The trouble with this one is, if I'm not wearing my glasses, I can't hardly read it, but I usually have my glasses on. But these are just some great G-Shocks. I highly recommend having at least one in your drawer to put on from time to time. Like I said, I know I'm going to get rid of the Frogman. I haven't quite decided if I'm keeping the Mudmaster. Great watch. Just a huge thing. So we will see. But I definitely will be keeping the 5600. There's always one of these on a shelf somewhere that I can put on. Anyway, thanks for watching this. If you have questions, if you'd like to see a certain watch reviewed, or have questions about one of the vehicles that I'm working on and haven't got to the video, leave me a comment, something like that, and I'd be happy to read that. Like and subscribe to the channel. Trying to be a little bit more consistent with getting some content thrown up on there on Northwind. Lost some key footage to a 78 F150. And so I'm piecing together as much as I can. I'll probably just throw it on there. Just really disheartening. Worked hard on that truck, and for some reason lost a lot of the footage in trying to get that thing up and going. And it's sold it to a kid, not a kid. He's in college now, working, who has a G-Shock from a mission trip. He's gone on almost every one of our Tohatchi mission trips, but he has that truck now, and I was really excited to get that video put together and posted. That was going to be my next one, and lost, you know, working on the brakes, working on all of those kind of things. And so it's just kind of discouraging. But I'll do what I can, and I'll try and get things posted as often as I can. Thanks once again for watching, and we will see you next time. It's my new coffee cup. Got to go to Kennedy Space Center, and so I wanted one that said NASA and was just kind of plain. And so this is it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.